Hi, I'm Steve, your host of It's All About Her. It is a show sponsored and inspired by Her Spirit Vodka, the vodka that gives half back to her. I interview women entrepreneurs in different phases of life and business to see what makes them tick and what we might have in common with these successful women. Get ready to be inspired by these great stories. Hello, everyone. In this episode of It's All About Her, you meet Motala. She is one of the co-founders of Minneapolis-based Femme Obsessed. She runs a consulting agency called Noise M8kers. Ra'eesa is also the first female president for the Twin Cities Film Festival Board of Directors. She sits on the 2020 steering committee for Minneapolis and is an advocate for girls in tech and entrepreneurship. Not to mention her day job, which she is the only female broker in her commercial real estate office. I had fun learning about this very busy woman, and I hope you enjoy the conversation. Hello, Ra'eesa.
Hi.
Did I get your name right?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Perfect. Last time I'm going to say it during this
And how
interview.
do you say yours?
Steve.
Steve?
Okay. That was you mocking me. I get it. I get that. Listeners, game's on. All right. Well, so you are a tough interview because you've got so many things going on. And I thought Twin Cities Film Festival president might be the one we talk about, or Femme Obsessed, or female commercial real estate broker that owns her own brokerage. Is
My
it
own
brokerage
book.
firm?
Well, yeah, you own your own book of business.
Right. Or Noise M8kers.
Yep.
Or 2017 Minneapolis on Fire. Or 2018 Woman in Business. Where would you like to start? It's a nice resume.
God, it's overwhelming for me right now just listening to you.
Well, so let's start with the real estate.
Okay.
Because for me, that's where I'm most interested because you showed up, and how many places have you traveled to today?
7.
7.
I had to count
All
in my
over-
head really fast.
Hey, take your time. And all over the metro, right?
Yeah, so it was interesting because I have a client from Texas in town, and when you get a client that's coming from out of town and they call you up a couple days before and say, hey, I'm going to be in town for 12 hours, well, every second of those 12 hours counts.
Right.
So, MnDOT, if you're listening, construction's not helping me.
So wait, so you're telling me you're not at the point yet where you have your own helicopter?
No, I'm trying to convince the partners in my office for a plane.
A plane? Yeah.
Yeah. There's insurance with that, though.
Right.
That was a deal breaker.
And yeah, you don't want a plane. Forget around the cities. A helicopter would be the easiest. So do you? So you focus on manufacturing and tech. And
Yes.
tech, that's a male-dominated market. So do
Yeah.
do you like bucking the system?
I think so. I'm not sure why. I like to call it curiosity that draws me to these industries, but tech, manufacturing, anything in industrial, commercial spaces seems to be a man's game. And
Right.
I'm going to be very blatantly transparent, old white man's game.
Okay.
And I think that needs to change. There's a different perspective you find in people who come into these industries and have a fresh outtake on what they have to give and offer. And a good example is a lot of these guys have been around for so long, they've become accustomed to the way they do business because
Right.
it just works for them.
Yeah.
Well, having, someone else come in and kind of explain more of the millennial way of doing things, it can turn things up and shake it around and makes them scared.
Are you? is that what does it for you? Is that what really? I mean.
Why do I love
get,
real estate?
I get
or?
that you're aggressive and you like to do things, but it seems
Okay,
like you like
not-
to be
well, let's-
a little. You like to be the odd one in the bunch.
We're going to go with tenacious.
Tenacious. Okay. Well, okay. So I know what word you're going to go for.
Okay,
but-
so
so it's important for you to. I mean, do you feel like you're kind of breaking ground for other people, for other women and other women of color?
yes, I do.
And do you feel responsibility? Because I'm hearing that.
Here's the thing. I don't think that I single-handedly am pioneering the path
I
for
get
all
that, yeah.
women, but do I feel like I'm taking a step in that right direction and that maybe there are other women who might want to follow or who might come up to me and say, hey, can you give us some advice? That has happened. It's always mind-boggling for me, and I'm blown away and honored anytime someone asks me to sit down to have coffee with them, because I'm going, wait, me?
Right.
Usually that was me calling up all these really badass female mentors that I had going, oh my gosh, I want to be like you one day. Can I have coffee with you?
Well, let's back up to that point, because I think that I feel like you're very young and at the beginning, but you're obviously not at the beginning.
No.
What was it like? How did you get into this, and how did that develop? You mentioned mentors.
Well, how did this all start? So I went to medical school.
Okay, that's perfect real estate.
Yes, it was a great prerequisite. It was the most expensive grad school for real estate, actually. I don't suggest it. And I really wanted to be a dermatologist.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted a really boring 9-to-5 job as a dermatologist, because I figured I've worked so hard up until this point. I'm not going to be on call every other weekend.
Right.
I don't want to be cutting open a chest at 2 a.m.
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I went to school I actually went to a British school, so
Okay.
I was out of the country. And I lived between Grand Cayman, and I spent some time in London. And I took a sabbatical, and I ended up touring around Europe, the very stereotypical thing to do when you're young.
Sure.
And I loved it. And then I'm actually originally from South Africa, so I was born in Johannesburg.
God, you're beating all my questions.
I'm sorry, Steve.
That's all right.
I went back to South Africa after my sabbatical to think about it. I had a year that I was able to take off, and I decided, you know what? Why not? I'm spending time with my grandparents. I loved it. I lived with them. I got to know them better because I never got that. You visit when you're a child, but it's so different living with them.
Right.
You form
and
a really
now you're
great
an
bond.
adult.
Yes, and now you're an adult. Well,
Kind of.
in some aspects. Your early 20s, however adulting you can be.
No one's changing you.
Right.
And grounding you.
And so that was a really, really great experience. And I thought, well, the goal was to go to a school outside of the U.S. so I could practice outside of the U.S. Why not just go to school here?
Right.
So I applied. I came back to Minnesota thinking, that's it. I'm picking up my stuff and I'm moving on out. Came back here, was in the process of doing that.
Wait, when you say came back here, when were you here?
So I came back. So I grew up in Minnesota. I've been here since I was 4.
Okay.
I grew up over in Woodbury.
Right. So South Africa, your grandparents were there,
Yep.
but you grew up here. All right. I was going to ask.
Just so we're all clear. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask what was the Minnesota connection, because all I heard was South Africa and then in Britain. So all right.
Minnesota plays a big part. It's home.
Yeah.
You know that thing where everyone says once you leave, you come back? You do.
Do you?
I left twice. I came back
Did you?
twice. I came back.
Third time might be the charm, though. They also say that. I don't know who they are saying this stuff.
I don't either, but whoever said it was right.
Yeah, they're smart. Right.
I came back, and when I was back in Minnesota, thinking I was going to move to South Africa to pursue the rest or complete my med school there, a mentor of mine that I'd known for a long time introduced me to, I don't want to say real estate or development, but kind of pushed me towards getting a job within a real estate development company. It was kind of just hitting the ground running. They've been around for a while. They were starting to acquire portfolio, adding to it. And I think I was employee number 20-something. And I decided part-time for the 3 months that I'm home, why not? My first job, my first grown-up big girl job, which I'm just going to say I am beyond shocked that I got. Yeah. Always said I was going to go back to school, and I got promoted, and then I got promoted again, and then it was really fun. It was a really, it wasn't a high-energy job. I mean, I was leasing apartments, and then I was managing the building, and then I was training and managing multiple buildings, and it was, okay, is this my life? I think I hit kind of a point where another mentor of mine, and keep in mind, this was a male mentor of mine, walked into my office one day and he goes, "You look so bored." And I did not know I was bored. I didn't. I thought I was happy. I was like, this is great. And he goes, "I'm going to introduce you to a guy who's going to change your life." And I'm like, why? Why is there always some Prince Charming who's going to waltz into my life and change? And he goes, no, not to date him. He's like, to go work with him. And I was like, I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm going to go back to med school anyway. And he goes, no, you're not. So he gave me his number, and I didn't call him. And he kept coming in every couple of days. Did you call him? Did you talk to him? eventually I did. I called him. I met him for breakfast. I talked to him. He was in brokerage. He did manufacturing, industrial brokerage. And he seemed like a really interesting guy. He was super mellow, super chill, not like other brokers I had met who seemed a little more stuffy and uptight and pretentious.
Pretentious and intense.
Yeah, like a little bit, you know. So I was like, okay, cool. So he kind of sat me down, and after the first meeting, which was breakfast for us, which was 15 minutes, he emails me right after, and I sent this very formal, like, thank you to him. And he sends me this email going back, and he's like, okay, great. When can you start? And I'm like, wait,
really?
What? I thought we were just meeting. He's like, you're going to do really great. I don't know what it was about him. I put in my...
But what was it about you that... Do you know what it was, or do you have a feeling of... What was it about you that they saw that made you fit this job so well?
I think it's because I realized that my entire educational career, I was so set on one plan, right? I am very OCD. I am very type A. Everything has to be like a certain way. I drive myself crazy. I would feel bad for anyone living with me. Trust me, I can't sleep at night if my dishes are in the sink. I will go nuts.
Okay.
And I think that I realized that my entire educational path, I was so set on one thing. I didn't realize there was a world out there. And growing up, I had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, you know, lemonade stands. I started a friendship bracelet company, which actually sold a lot the first month it was open, and then stopped after that because I had to go back to school after summer vacation. But, you know, I think I realized that I had other talents that maybe I didn't really focus on that I could start working on, and I could have more than I thought and wanted. And I think, and it's going to sound really ridiculous, but the adrenaline rush, it's almost like a high when you want to chase a deal and get it and go after it.
Is the high chasing the deal, or is it getting the deal?
Oh, it's both.
Is it?
It's like...
Because your deals, I mean, they've got to be pretty good sized.
They have to be good size because that's how you make... You don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks, Steve.
Right, I know.
You only get paid when you...
I get a paycheck every 2 years, so I know the game. But that's being an entrepreneur. But but in the commercial real estate.
Yeah.
So how do you build a portfolio?
Cold call.
Cold call?
You door knock.
And you say,
you
hey,
walk
are you
into people's office and
selling?
you're like, you don't know me, but you're going to want to know me. You don't like me right now, but you will.
But what are you asking for?
Their trust. You're asking for people. You know how hard it is to sell yourself? That is the hardest thing you can freaking sell.
Right.
Give me a product, I'll sell it all day long. Tell me to sell myself, and I'm going to stare at you like a deer in headlights going, ah, shit.
I love that because I'm horrible at sales, and especially because I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always selling my own dream. You're always selling your own piece.
Yes.
You're selling a piece of real estate that you're not personally
Exactly.
You're renting.
You know, I see it this way. If you had a building that you're leasing and your lease is coming up for renewal, or if you want to go acquire a large property and, you know, dump $5 million into this building, that's not a small, you know, sum of money. Like, that's asking a lot of someone.
Right.
Do you want to work with someone you trust, or you want to work with someone who's just calling you for the first time and saying, hey, so I do this for a living, want to talk? That's kind of creepy.
Right.
But that's how I start, right? I got to start by being a little creepy.
I like the way you roll.
You're like, a little bit.
That's creepy, right? I'm like, yep. Well, that's who I was. I was the creeper, and that's how I got to where I am.
I mean, selling yourself means you have to put yourself out there, and you have to be open to rejection and know that people are going to... For every 100 no's you get, you're going to get like 3 yeses. And of those 3 yeses, maybe one will bite. But that's part of being an entrepreneur in any sense.
It is. I've listened to podcasts of very successful billionaires, and they talk about I counted, and they were raising funds, and I heard 900 no's. Yes. And so then I got the attitude of I'm going out to look for no's.
Yes.
And then finally you get into yes, and that changes your life.
And I do that every single day. I wake up and I tell myself, you're probably going to get 50 million no's today, but you don't know when that 51st million is going to be a yes. So you just got to keep going. Does
it wear on you?
Yes. Like you want to hit your head against the wall?
I'm not going to say it drives you to drinking because that's awful. But it has to be. I mean, it's got to be. Does it make you question who you are?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what's worse? I hate LinkedIn. I hate it.
Why? Tell me why. Because
you've got all these recruiters coming after you.
Yeah.
And dropping these little notes and, oh, yeah, but I think, when you start getting to certain points in your career and you start posting and people are getting to know you a little bit better, because you can't hide who you are in today's time, right?
Oh, no.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that there were no such thing as Snapchats back when I was in college, because that would have sucked. But,
Well, I'd like to hear more about that.
Documented evidence. I don't need that. But, people start noticing you and taking... they're taking second glances, and now they're coming to you and saying, well, actually, we want you to work for us. And you've got this mindset where, no, I'm working for myself. This is what I wake up every morning and go crazy for. But it's a distraction.
Yeah.
It distracts you. And it's not their fault. And I'm thankful they recognize something in that.
They're throwing out a shiny object for someone that has OCD.
Yeah, like me,
right,
who's
like,
just like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Wait, what's my stock option? Come again? How much equity do I get? Is that vested? What is that? So it's interesting how I think that is one of the things that I have to remind myself, why do I do this every day? It's not that I don't want to do it.
No, but let me ask you this, because, you threw out equity and invest. It doesn't sound like you do it for the money, because you seem to really enjoy...
You do it for the drive.
It seems like you do it for the high.
You do it for the high all the time.
You do it for the high. You do it for the shuck and jive of the chase.
It sounds ridiculous, but I think if you do what you love doing, money will come, success follows. And I know it's so cliche. People say you should follow your passion, and you should, but not every day is going to be the best day ever. If you don't have god-awful days, you're doing something wrong. You really are.
Right.
You're messing up somewhere.
Yeah. Or you're not trying.
How do you know you're learning and progressing if you're not fucking up enough to know that you got to start making some real life-changing decisions?
Right.
Gosh,
you're so wise.
I'll send you a signed copy of my book when it's done.
All right. Well, can I get it on Audible?
Sure.
I'll take the audio version, please.
Sure.
I'm kind of amazed because I don't think you've led with commercial broker in your bio, but I remember reading it today when you sent me just a little email, and there's 4 little paragraphs, right?
Yep.
And I get this all the time. I get women that send me 3 freaking pages, and I'm like, really? I want to do an interview. I don't want to know everything about you, right? But every one of your little paragraphs were so. In a lot of people's life, they would be quite an accomplishment. You have we can move. Let's move to the Twin Cities. Let's take them one at a time.
All right.
And we'll put some effort into them. Twin Cities Film Festival president. And so I read about that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because that seems like a big deal. How do you go from broker and transition into Twin Cities Film Festival?
Interesting story.
Perfect, because that's what my listeners are looking for.
Well, you're in luck. Okay, so let's cap this off. So, commercial broker, like I said, when you sell yourself, you're putting yourself out there.
Hold on a second.
We're moving into this, right?
She's making the transition for us. She did not like that transition. It was too abrupt. So go ahead and transition.
OCD, like to round things out over here. A big part of what I do with my job is dealing with people and money and numbers and men. Okay, I'm the only female broker in my office. I didn't like that. I wanted to change that. Okay, I want other women in my office. I hate walking in and seeing a bunch of old men. Gotcha. I love them, but I hate seeing them all the time. To put yourself out there, you need to change that, right? So when you get more involved, like I said, when you leave med school, you realize all these other skills you have. When you go out to try to change something that's internal, you start realizing there's another world out there of opportunities. So I met J.N., the executive director of the Twin Cities Film Fest, about 5 years ago through a mutual connection who thought it would be really great for me to get to know him and help grow my business as well. He knew a lot of individuals, small businesses, women who would like to pursue other careers. And I thought, great, I'm just going to pimp him for info.
Yeah, right.
No, I was so wrong. No, I thought I was totally playing him.
He was playing
you?
He
sucked me in. I met him and I got to know him, and he's an incredible individual. And he's someone who I actually hold in high regard. Asked me to attend the festival, get involved, help out. You know, that's how they start. They ask for small little favors.
Sure.
Next thing you know, I'm sitting on the board of directors. I'm going after sponsorship and partnership. And then a couple months later, he sits me down and he goes, you know what I think would be really great? I'm like, what? He's like, if you were president of the board. And I'm like, oh, that's never going to happen. Never. This is a organization that's been around for 9 years. It's one of the largest the film festivals in Minnesota.
Yep.
It's one of the most prominent in the Midwest. I mean, our education director does work for Tribeca and for Sun. I mean, what am I going to do? I know big, ugly warehouses.
Right.
Well, little did I know, the board had already decided that this was a great idea. I was just the last to know.
Right.
So I got kind of roped in and convinced that this would be a really great opportunity for the organization. And it turns out that I am the first female president that the Twin Cities Film Fest has seen in its 9 years. So I walked in there thinking, great, this will be fun. Nope, I got a lot of papers at the door going, we'll fix this and we'll see you in year 10.
So it's for 2 years, and
it's for 2
and it's not just
terms.
a title. You're actually having to fix some stuff. So obviously,
and fix is like
this seems like a trend with you, because you seem very modest about what you bring to the table. Because obviously we're going back to the commercial real estate where they said, no, you're working here and you're not going back to dermatology. And I don't even want to think about what you'd be doing in dermatology. and then not only did
popping
you get
a lot
involved
of
with the film
pimples.
festival, hey, there's also cancer. You can save lives. I
That's
saw a
true.
Seinfeld episode. Serious stuff, that dermatology. And then you get involved with the film festival and you become the president. What trait do you think it is, or what do you think it is about you that gets these people so excited about your talent?
I've been told that I'm proactive.
Okay.
I take initiative.
Proactive is also a dermatology.
It is. It was great. It helped me through some of my tough years.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I thought when I grew up I'd get rid of pimples. No.
Okay, have you ever seen those videos where you can totally like those guys who are like squeezing pimples, or like doctors who record them? And
yeah.
Those are really soothing.
The nasty. I mean, there's nothing better than a blackhead coming out. Who
oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so relaxing. That's how I relax.
Yeah, it's like an accomplishment. I mean, that's.
You're like,
I wish I could get paid for each blackhead that came out. That would be hot.
Me and you both.
Maybe I should.
Me and you both.
I got to write down a note. Start YouTube blackhead. Of course, that might. Yeah, I might get in trouble with that. So who knows?
I don't know. I honestly wish I knew if there was some magic trait that I had. Like, I don't know if it's... So I'm a big... Some people say nerd. I call it intellectual badass.
Yep.
I'm a big dork about Star Wars. You want to talk Star Wars? I'll sit here all night with you. You want to talk Marvel? You want to talk DC?
Right.
Oh, we'll never leave. So I don't know if... I like to think I have a superpower, but I'm still trying to figure out what that superpower really is.
Are you always confident? Because you seem, in this, at least in this interview, and
I blame my parents for that.
You weren't. You didn't seem as confident about what you're going to talk about or what you're going to do. But once the microphone is on, when it's game time, you seem to show up. Is that normal?
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of a couple things. I have parents who really instilled a sense of being a leader, not a follower.
Yep.
I have 3 brothers and I have 11 boy cousins.
Wow.
I'm the oldest.
Yep.
All of my brother's friends and all of my parents' friends were boys. You want to play, you show up. Okay.
So you've been playing in a man's world and a boy's world
for
forever.
A long time. And I think my parents, my dad really kind of instilled this ability in me that you really don't give a fuck about what people think about you, because if you know it and you own it, then that should be your driving force.
Right.
And unless you're doing something wrong, don't let anyone come after you. And he also told me that if a guy ever messes with you, just hit him where it hurts most. But I mean, I think growing up a little bit further south, growing up, it was, you want to be able to take care of yourself and be independent. And as you go through this, so I was homeschooled.
Really?
So a lot of people, when they hear that, they think I'm supposed to be like this introverted, super awkward, shy person who's afraid of people and standing on a stage. And I think that was the complete opposite. My parents made sure we were in sports. They put me in judo. They put me in like public speaking. They put me in swimming. So they kind of put me in situations that make you uncomfortable,
Right.
And they kind of pushed you to overcome your fears by actually facing them head on, which I think a lot of people might think is wrong, but I think it's actually a really great tactic, because what better way to face it?
Oh no, I don't think it's wrong at all. But
jump
so
in.
do you think you're lucky stars every day for your parents? Because it seems like they did a good job. I mean, I know a lot of people that have myself for one, has insecurity issues, has whatever.
Don't we all have insecurity issues?
Yeah, but I think you have less when you have good parents that encourage you and told you were worth it. And was that, or did you? Oh, you're smiling like, you're not.
Okay,
you're not exactly.
I have fantastic parents, but I think with my parents it was a lot of pressure because you want to live up to their expectations.
Sure.
My parents are not dumb people. Right. They're very intelligent, and for me it was always trying to find a way to prove my dad wrong.
Right.
Because you always knew.
So were you trying to
right.
impress your parents?
Oh, for sure. I think not even my parents. I think I was constantly trying to impress my dad. Like I was always like, what could I do? What could I do? What could I do? And then I think at some point I just kind of was just like, well, fuck this. This is not working.
Well, is it still there though? Are you succeeding because you're trying to impress
I think
someone
at this
that's not
point,
really there, doesn't really.
Well, here's the thing. I think at this point, as an adult, getting up there, getting to
as
my
a
30s,
young adult, are you kidding me?
I think for me, I'm at this point where a couple years ago I realized that my parents are always going to have this high expectation of me. I need to do what I want to do that I think I'm going to succeed in and be happy with. And I think at some point they're going to understand that maybe they just need to trust me to make the right decisions and get shit done.
Right.
So it's not more of what can I do to impress them now. It's kind of more so because, when you're younger, you want to push back. You want to fight. When your parents are like, did you fucking drop out of medical school? And you're like,
But so you're very unique in a couple of ways. And one way is I talk to a lot of successful women, and I definitely consider you a successful woman, especially.
That makes one of us.
You're so
Thank you.
freaking young. Well, I hope you don't think I'm a successful woman. So I would be unsuccessful in my looks.
That makes one of us that thinks that way.
Oh, I got you. Oh, that was weird. But you mentioned your mentors, and a lot of women, a lot of successful women, I think, the key are mentors, and men also. Mm-hmm. But I think I've heard a couple of mentors mentioned, and they're male. Have you had a lot of male mentors?
Initially, and I think it happened that way. I didn't seek it out. And it's interesting that you bring that up. In the last couple of years, I've actually sought out female mentors.
Nice.
I had to be more proactive about it because I felt like the mentors I had, and I have so much respect for them. I really do. And I'm so grateful for all their time and their advice. But I think I actively had to seek out female mentors because I just don't think they were given the platform. And I'm talking like 2-3 years ago, right?
Right.
Now it's a little bit more common.
Yep.
And it's crazy to think how. So I kind of came in to the festival, the Twin Cities Film Fest, as president, kind of as we were launching our You're a Spectacular Woman campaign.
Perfect timing.
Right? What better timing to have the first female president
And
I will say it was before the Me Too movement too, as well. So we launched our campaign, and then Me Too and Time's Up Now came out a month and 2 months respectively after that. So I like to think we were ahead of our time, but it kind of like almost like you blinked and all of a sudden it was like woman empowerment, which I love.
It's like woman empowerment, and it's been there forever when it hasn't been.
Right.
And any issues like what we're talking about, there's pockets of people that are supportive and people that are treating other people the right way. But but it's not the overall on the spectrum. It's a minority,
Right.
and it shouldn't be. But,
Yes.
So I think you can always find cases of, well, this guy was doing the things the right way, or this company was a supportive one, but but that's less than 1%. So yeah. That is nice to hear that Minnesota's ahead of the curve a little bit there.
It is. I mean, we're changing it, but it's the individuals that are out there actually proactively changing it that make a difference. So I joined an organization called NABO. It's the National Association of Women Business Owners. And if you ever want to meet a group of the most badass, no shits given women.
Yeah, guess what? Because they had to.
They had to.
I mean, they had to be. I mean, most. I think most anybody, men or women, that are tough in life had to be tough because of where they came from or what they were up against.
Oh, absolutely.
And but I think in the past, women were looked at if they were confident and strong in business. Oh, she's a bitch.
Yes.
Yep. She's being bitchy.
She's too aggressive.
Yep. Oh, calm it down. Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me?
I think there's
men
still that,
could say,
though.
I'm sure there is. I mean, I'm not in business. I stay at home, but
You want to trade?
no, I would like your income. So yeah,
for
I'm actually sitting here.
That's
Right.
kind of my jam.
I just wrote down. Maybe she would mentor me.
Let's go buy some property.
Yeah. Oh my God, teach me.
Real estate.
I just don't want. I couldn't. It takes someone special to be able to be told no as many times as it takes to get a yes in your business. I think.
And I don't want to say this because, I want a pity party, but I think as a woman, it's even harder. A lot of people will say, oh, as a woman, you must get business all the time. Men love you. Either they think you're a complete bitch or they think you're flirting with them.
Right.
There's no middle ground. It's one or the other. And you're just like, no, I actually just smiled because that's what normal friendly people do. I wasn't smiling at you.
Right.
Oh my God, some of the comments I've had oh my gosh, I've had guys send their pictures of their junk to me in an email.
Oh yeah, I gotta stop that email.
Too much, dude. Too much.
But a lot of men think that the only reason a woman talks to them is because they think they want to have sex with them.
Yes.
And
why is that?
I don't understand that. I don't think anyone wants to have sex with me, so man or woman. It's kind of weird. It's like, well, my wife, I found somebody who has sex with me.
She's a keeper.
Yeah. This is getting really off track. But back to, I don't want to say back to drinking, but you have to entertain a lot.
I do.
So,
that's the hardest part of my job.
I know a lot of women in business that travel, and they travel by themselves for their business. And I always say, well, oh, did you go to this? They go, I can't drink when I'm out of town because I can't put myself in that position.
You can't.
And so,
you can't
but
just
you
drink,
also
period.
no, because one drink really. I mean, for me, one drink makes me make bad decisions. Then I make another one.
Those
make another
horror
one.
stories you hear about girls getting roofied and
Right.
getting roofied in their water. Those are actually real.
Oh, I believe that. So how do you deal with that? Because you're in a business where I have to assume these guys that are coming in are very wealthy.
Yes.
They expect to go out and have a nice steak.
They
want
to be wined and dined.
Right. And they
Yes.
want you, and you can't. I have to assume you cannot not drink with them.
So here's the thing, right? I think it takes a lot to be able to sit there and look at someone and say, listen, you're my client. We're going to go out. We're going to have a good time. But you need to know when, personally as an individual, know when to draw the line, right?
Right.
I'm very thankful that I have a mentor, the one who I took a breakfast meeting with and ended up, well, here I am 3 years later.
Right.
He started our office here in Minneapolis. He was a boutique shop. He was really successful. He was a great guy, and he opened up the 55th office that Lean Associates has seen nationally. And he's been very supportive in what do you want to do and not do when it comes to things like that, and where do you need me to step in?
Oh,
because
wow.
he's been
nice.
Extremely supportive as a woman in this industry, knowing how hard it is, but also very open with what can I do to make it easier for you.
And don't take this the wrong way.
I'm probably not really going to the strip clubs.
Right. And is he very sincere about that?
Yes.
Because I know that.
Yes.
I know that not a lot of people say things.
Oh, a
and
lot of
don't
guys
mean
say
it.
that. Oh, 100%.
Right.
Oh, and you know what?
And he's
the only reason
obviously
I
under
think
3 years he's proved it.
And it's not even so that he's had to prove it, but he knows there's a really good, transparent line between us where there's really no reason for him to lie to me and me to lie to him. It's more of a case of he's very direct and to the point, and he's not going to put up with the bullshit. So, we've been to events where guys have made obscene comments, or we've been to conferences where men have been very inappropriate, and he's immediately kind of stepped in. And while, you have to respect that he's putting himself in a situation where he can compromise his reputation as well, right?
Well, they might just, I don't want to deal with you if you're not going to play the game.
It's kind of that he's not like that where he's going to go out and actively seek that attention and act a certain way.
Right. So is there, what percentage of, let's start on the brokerage side. Let's talk about, and is he your boss?
My senior partner.
Your
so,
senior partner?
I mean...
So, well,
I don't really have a boss. I wish I had a boss.
She doesn't want to say boss. But men in his role, what are the percentage of him being a good guy and the others being pigs? I mean, it's a
big number.
Is he a definite minority, less than 10%?
Yes. I think he's a minority, absolutely. And I only say that because it's not hard to pick up fake versus sincere.
Right.
In today's age,
pick up a line versus...
Yes, or pick up like that. Oh, yeah.
Am I being sincere?
I like to think you are.
Well, you should be able to know in your world.
I also know where to find you, so...
Well, do you feel really fortunate that you came across this
Yeah, I think that, and I would say this any day, all day, that I think if I had a different senior partner and a mentor, I don't know if I would be in this industry this long. I really do. I honestly say that all the damn time, and I know how fortunate I am because I work across the table from so many guys, and up until today, I have never sat across the table from a female broker. I have yet to sit across the table from a female broker. How insane is that? So I know how fortunate I am. I know that if I have a problem, he's going to maybe not tell me 100% how to fix it, but he's going to make me think about it. And he's going to make me kind of come to a solution. And he does a really good job of letting me learn and fuck up and mess up and then not rub it in my face that I fucked up, but be like, so what do you think we should do next time? Right. And you're like, damn it. Why can't you just be mad and move on? Why are you going to make me work for this?
So let me ask you this. I always ask a question, if your business is 100% successful, what does that look like? I don't want to ask that because you have so many businesses. We're not even going to get to all your businesses. I don't even know what to do here. But do you have any part of you that thinks, I want to start an all-woman brokerage firm of my own?
Oh my God, yes. I think about that all the freaking time. But then you know what happens? That little, stupid ding goes off in my head, and it's like, oh, well, are you being too inclusive now? Are you trying to do what men do to women? And it's a
I like that point of view because I don't
balance strike.
Right, because I love hearing that because there's a difference in, I'm going to use women as an example, but there's a difference. Let's use race. Whatever your race is, there's a difference of being proud of your race and excluding all other races. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between being proud of being a man and treating women like crap.
Absolutely.
So there is a fine line, and I think there's a difference. I think for me, it's about pride, not about showing everyone else or whoever you're against. If it's women against men, if it's whatever race against all other races or another race, I just don't think that's what's important. And it seems to me like you really enjoy what you're doing. You're proud that you're a woman of color. Mm-hmm. You're a woman, but it doesn't necessarily define you.
It doesn't define who I am.
Right.
I'm more than just that. Yeah. And what I told someone last year at a golf tournament when he told me that I should smile more because I'd be prettier, I told him I'm more than just a smile. I actually have a goddamn brain in my head. Jesus, seriously, dude. But
what was his response? You can't. Just
he just stared at me. Like
right.
he didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like he just stared at me and was just like, I gotta go hit my ball. And I'm like, great, you don't have any. But here's the thing: is as much
was
as
there a turning? Wait, hold on. I don't want.
Go ahead.
I would like to let you finish. But was there a turning point where you became tougher, or were you this tough when you walked into the industry? Because this industry had to be intimidating for you.
Absolutely. I think I got tougher. I get tougher. I shouldn't say I got. I get tougher with every no. You know why I love people telling me no?
Why?
I can move on with my fucking life.
I like that.
And a no just means not today.
Right.
So I know to put you in the back of the line and come back to you. You think you're done, you're not done with me. I'm coming back to you, just not tomorrow.
I met with a woman that everyone said, you've got to be in this bar. It's a no-brainer. They're going to have you in. They're going to blow you up in this bar. I walked in, and the manager was a woman from England. It took me 3 times to catch her where I could talk to her. It took her 30 seconds to say no.
Yep.
I said, thank you very much. She said, what for? I said, for saying no. Instead of being weak,
yes,
and saying,
own it.
You know what? Come back. Let me think about it.
Yes.
Don't waste my time.
Time is money.
Let me know. Yeah.
Time is valuable.
Yeah.
If there's one thing you're never going to get back on this planet, it's time. Never. You're never going to get that back. And it's important to know that, you know? For me, okay, so I will finish my last thought is that, you know, when you get a woman walking into a room and she sits down across from a male colleague or a peer, such as a broker in my industry, in manufacturing, you really feel like you have to actually prove yourself a little bit more, right?
Right.
You have to feel like you have to do a little bit extra, and every so often you question yourself on whether or not it's the right thing. It really questions your confidence, your intelligence, your patience. And a big part of that is why I decided to get more involved with things like the Twin Cities Film Festival, Femme Obsessed, Noise M8kers.
So I want to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you, which not a softball question, but listening to you, if I'm in commercial real estate, I want to be exposed to all these different... Did you do it to sell more real estate, or did you do it
No,
because you want to be involved
I have
in these?
0 clients in there. You think I've got a manufacturing client in Femme Obsessed? A woman-run brand
I was trying to ask a
organization?
tough question. You don't have to laugh at me.
I'm sorry, Steve. I'm sorry. No, okay.
No, but a lot of
Yeah.
real estate, commercial, and all they do is want to expose themselves to different groups.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hey, it's a valid question.
So here's the thing.
That's it. I'm coming up with a tough question.
Okay.
Keep talking.
You know how you get really good at your job?
Tell me.
You live it, you breathe it, you sleep it, you eat it, you do it, right? Everyone knows that. And I do. I love brokerage. I love industrial. I hate the question of, oh, are you a retail broker? Because, that's what female brokers do. You're in retail. That's great. I love retail. Retail's awesome. It's probably going away too. But
Right.
no, why can I not be? I get called my senior partner's assistant, his intern, his admin, the office manager, the marketing girl. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't faze me. Great. You're not looking out for me. You don't know when I'm going to sneak up behind you and pull the damn rug out of your feet. That's
Right.
awesome. Femme Obsessed, Noise M8kers, these were all things that I wanted to do because I know how hard it is to be a woman. Again, it's not a pity story. It's not. Because I love men. I love working with men.
You don't ask for... You're strong.
I don't want sympathy from anyone.
No, and I don't want to get punched.
This?
But I am going to... Now you've got me on the offense where I've got to find something on you. And I'm going to say, you said Noise M8kers is your passion. It's not.
It's my passion project.
It's your passion project.
It's my passion project.
It's your passion project.
I have no life. I have no
commercial
children.
Real estate is your... Commercial real estate is your passion. You love your job. I mean, it comes out, and I'll tell you, I'd love to see that. And whoever you're working for or working with, and your customers must love that because you love what you do.
I love what I do, but I also love solving their problems. I want to solve their problems. I think that's why they like me, really, because I just solve a problem.
No, you make them money.
And
I
save them a lot of money.
And you save them a lot of money. That's why they like you. It's nothing personal, but the reason you're so good is because you love what you do.
I do love what I do.
Yeah.
That's my long-term play, and I'm not going to give up
your
anything.
long-term play is the YouTube blackhead popping website. We're going to start.
We're going in partnership, right? This
right.
is a 50-50.
Yeah.
Hey, if we go 51-50, we get women certified, but the 51 comes to me.
Oh, I don't. Hey, I just want to be involved. I just want to ride your coattails. Are you kidding me?
Let's do it.
But I should be doing this podcast just to get on successful women's coattails, just to be part of your life. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know how many badass women you know? Like,
I do.
So
Are
fortunate.
you kidding me?
You're like,
do you know how many of
you're like the rose amongst the thorns.
Everybody. My wife was in an event. What was it? Girl Creative.
Oh yeah.
At the other Marriott.
Yeah.
And I said, how'd it go? She goes, it was awesome. She goes, I talked about your podcast, and half the people in the room raised their hand. I was on his podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun because
you're going viral.
One thing is I love what the women are doing, and I love hearing your stories.
Well, and that's kind of what Femme Obsessed was, right? So, co-founded, co-produced this event. So Noise M8kers produced Femme Obsessed.
Stop reading my notes.
Well, I'm trying to draw
Noise M8kers is right here. Going up to there. They produced it.
Femme Obsessed. Okay. So I'll give you the quick rundown of that.
Are you starting with Noise M8kers or Femme Obsessed?
Yes.
Noise M8kers.
So Noise M8kers. So when I was in college, kind of graduated, was getting ready for med school, I started this consulting firm, right? I did. Yep. This was back when SEO started becoming a thing. Right? Everyone wanted to search engine optimize their website and their social media. Do you remember back when Instagram was do I need one? Do I not need one? Is Facebook a thing? Okay, so I started taking, I'm not kidding, watching YouTube videos and taking online SEO classes to be able to learn how to do this newfound cool skill set. And it was no one's ever going to use this ever. Yeah, right. That's everyone's life.
Right.
So I started helping companies go out and build their SEO, and I wasn't very good at it in the beginning. I sucked. I was so bad at it. It was
Why were you bad
awful.
at it?
Because it was writing code and learning code and typing in
algorithms
how do you build out an HTML site on WordPress, and if you go on the back end, and now I've gotten really damn good at it because on the weekends, again, I have no life. So
do you not have a boyfriend?
So I'm actually divorced.
Okay.
Right, so I was married and I got divorced, and he's a great guy, and he's super awesome, and it was great, but it just wasn't the right time for us, the right fit.
Sure.
Marriage is not a one fit all.
Are you dating now?
Scenario. Besides my job.
Okay. So we're gonna
We're
gonna come back to all these things in another interview because we're way over. I want to talk about you for a little bit.
Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah. So, are you dating now? Do you have anyone special in your life?
My mom wishes I was married.
Wow. We talked about your dad the whole interview, and now we're talking about your mom.
Your mom. My mom.
When it comes to grandchildren.
My grandmother and my mother wish I was married. I like to think that I like to think that when the time is right, it'll happen. I don't believe in this fairy tale of having a guy come in and rescue me from the tower and the dragon. I'll be the dragon my damn self, and I'm probably in the tower because I want some quiet. But I love my job.
Have you used that line before?
I actually have not, really.
That's really good. I like that. Well, it describes you. I think it's... I told you I've had interviews that have been good and bad. And the good ones are the ones where people are honest with me. And I think that you're very honest.
Thank you.
I think you're very transparent.
I try to be transparent.
Yeah.
And I try to be... My mom... I remember when I was around 15 or 16, my mom told me I was too blunt. And I looked at her so? And she goes, exactly.
Right.
This is reason.
Do you feel back to more dating the business, because I know you're up against in the business, but in the dating world,
it's hard
are men
out there.
Intimidated by you?
Yes, I've been told that. Okay, why? Why?
I'll tell you why.
Oh my God.
Because I was
why?
single I was married for a long time, and then I was single, and I was mature at that time. And I told everybody, they go, "What are you looking for in a woman?" I said, "I'm looking for a strong, independent woman." And every guy says that. And guess what? About 5% or less really want that. Because they get someone strong and independent that has a mind of their own. They don't want that.
And then they bitch about it.
Then they bitch about it because they don't really want that. And men, I think men are trained to have, I think we need to get through time more, to be honest. I think men were raised, and I think I'm an exception because I wasn't really raised. You know, my whole family is dead.
Oh,
to
I'm
me.
sorry.
To me.
Sorry. Still sorry.
To me. God, I used to have to me. Anyway. But it's a long, I got distracted when you were talking to that dude. Is that one of the potentials?
No, that's Jane, the executive director of the Twin Cities Film Fest.
Oh, I got you. He looks like a film guy, and he's wearing a film fest shirt. Yeah,
he is wearing a film fest shirt.
Let's go, bro. So, back to men. I think they are. I think the next generation is going to be a lot better man.
I hope so.
And I think it's a lot more accepting of powerful women and appreciate it.
Okay, so when I say hope so, I want to take that back for a second. Actually, I do. Because I think there are guys out there who really appreciate individuals or women who are strong and know what they want and go after it. But those are the men that are secure with themselves, right? And I think I live in a world and a generation where I have a lot of men around me and that are a generation above me that are still trying to figure out who they are. And they don't like the fact that they've got a woman who, and this sounds so ridiculous, but it's almost like the stereotype of a man always has to be like this powering force and needs to be the one who's always right. And like having I've gone out on dates with guys where, you know, there's that old like cultural stigma of like, so if you have a kid, you're going to quit your job and stay home. And then they get that look from me like, you're out of your fucking mind, right? Like, are you kidding me? And it's just like, oh, wait, you wouldn't do that? Is that not the most important thing in your life? And I'm like, yes, you're right. God put me on this earth so I can make you 15 babies. Do I look like I have kid-bearing hips? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Hey, you're making me feel guilt about any thoughts I had about it. I get it. Like, why
can't I do it all?
Right. I get it. And guess what? I can't. Well, I would never argue with you because I totally agree with you. And it is. I mean, it's. But that is an old way of thinking. But I also think men are so emotionally fucked up that even the next generation or the generation, they're still not going to feel. They're still not going to have confidence about themselves because I think they're going to go, oh, I was too overloved. They don't. I just think men in general are not a very secure.
Their mamas loved them too much.
Their mama didn't love them enough.
I have three brothers. Listen, I have three brothers. Their mommies loved them too much.
And that's the way it's all gonna go. And it's.
Wait, here's the thing, Steve. It's like okay.
How do we fix this?
You can fix it. Okay. Listen, I'm sure there's an amazing number of men out there who don't have this issue, okay? But at the end of the day, I think there's this huge misconception that women can't do it all. I had someone ask me point blank, and I was so disappointed in this because it came from a woman, and I'm not trying to be sexist by any means, but I was so mad that a woman asked me this, and she looked at me and she said, based on all you do, and I feel like you're always working and you're always on the go and you're always getting on a plane. She's like, do you ever feel bad or guilty that you are not making time to have a child?
Oh, my God.
And I looked at her and I was like, how many kids do you have? And she's like, I have 3. And I turned down a promotion because I wanted to make it to my kid's karate class. And I said, great. Who made that decision?
Right.
She's like, well, I did. I'm like, awesome. So why are you looking at me like my decision was wrong? Do not make another woman feel guilty because she did not make the decision that you thought was best. I am not going to tell a man, you better stay home so you can watch your goddamn kids.
Well, you probably will have to because you'll be making more money than him.
Oh, whoever I end up with, he's going to be Mr. Dad. So, hey, anyone out there?
Hold on. Hold on.
Want to be Mr. Dad?
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you two more questions. The first one is, are you willing to do a part 2 of this one?
Oh, 100%.
Because I usually go 30 minutes. We're almost an hour.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, which I'm fine. I want to hear your story, but I don't think your story's done with what we talked about. And I had fun. Did you have fun?
Oh my God, I had so much fun.
Stop it.
What are you doing
We still have to talk about 2017 Minneapolis on Fire, the 2018 Women in Business. I want to hit all that, but I want to ask you, I do want to ask you one question. I know you work, but what outside of that, outside of what do you do for fun? What you sit down, I know, is it Star Wars?
Oh, I love Star Wars.
Is it what really does it for you to have a good time and just say, nothing to do with work? Is there a time there's nothing to do with work?
What makes me sleep well at night?
Yeah, well, what if you're going to spend 2 hours tonight not doing a podcast, not working, not networking with the people behind us, in front of us?
Lying to myself that I would go to the gym, not doing that.
But yeah, what do you do for fun? What is something that every time you go to, you can go do something? Is there something that you can just go do and you say, this is it?
Okay, so I think there are 2 things that I really, really enjoy doing outside of my jobs, outside of my multiple roles. Outside of, I do bike a lot. I love to bike.
Nice.
Outside of that, there are 2 things that I really love doing. One, I have a goddaughter. She's 3 years old.
Yep.
She just turned 3 this August. She's the sassiest. Her mom says sassiest. I say extreme negotiation skills. She's pretty smart for a 3-year-old. She will, oh my God, she'll turn that table so fast on you. And she's extremely strong for a little girl, and I really love spending time with her. So on Saturday, we went to Nickelodeon Universe, and we rode every ride that probably she could ride, because she was tall enough. She's 3.
Right.
And we had the most amazing conversations on these rides. I've got a 3-year-old telling me what she wants in life.
Does that cause you to reflect?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes to my number 2. My number 2 is I'm a firm believer in that I love men. I work with men every day. I respect them. I really do. And I know there's so many out there who are big supporters of women and just in general big supporters of us becoming a more united society.
Right here.
Hi, Steve. But I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that no woman should ever be looked down on unless you're helping her up.
Right.
And I love to do that. I don't want anything in return. I want to sit down with anyone who wants to see me. How do you do that? You want to have coffee with me? Let's do it. You want to go on a walk with me? You want me to sit on the phone with you? You want me to walk you through something? I will do it. I don't care what you need. I need nothing in return. I want to know that whatever advice or whatever help I give you, you're going to take it and you're going to reach your full potential. You're going to run with it. That makes me the happiest person in the world, because I know that there's someone else out there then who's going to take the next step to move forward. That's awesome. That's all I want.
That's awesome. A lot of people don't know how fulfilling it is to help someone else with no strings attached.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My parents raised me to give back, so
how many do you think there's a lot of people in the, and I don't want to give your business a bad rep, but in the commercial real estate business that feel that way, that would answer that question that way?
So I know you want to do a part 2 of this.
So should we get, you want a cliffhanger?
That kind of ties back into Noise M8kers and Femme Obsessed, to be honest.
Okay.
It really does.
Do you feel like, and I know that was the last question. This is the last question until part 2. Do you feel like you have the ability and talent and motivation to kind of change your industry that you're in?
Yes.
Because you seem to love the industry and you don't really like how it's going for people.
Yes. So, and I will say this. I know I mentioned my senior mentor, Chris. Chris is a great advocate for women, but overall, our Lee Umbrella has a CEO. He's out in Orange County, Jeff Rinkov, and a couple months ago, him and our PR director approached me and asked me to help them write an article on how do we bring more women to the table. And we talked about it for a while, and we went back and forth, and there were some edits and definitely some different variations. But I think overall, when you really look at it, small picture, it's, okay, you've got this one girl in an office full of men who's probably hitting her head against the wall, but she's getting there slowly but surely, with the support of the people that are around her that actually really do give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Big picture, well, yeah. How many female industrial brokers do you know under 40 that are women of color?
Right. You know, my first instinct was, when you were saying that, was, well, yeah, are they doing it for the right reasons? And guess what? In business, the right reason is not to just get women. It's it's to make money. And they might see a new category for them to make money. And great. And because it's not a men's club anymore.
It's not.
Because obviously,
well, it is, but it's not.
Well, it is. No, it is a men's club, but obviously you prove that there's a need for women, and there's women. I mean, at the end of the day, if you weren't doing a great job, you would not be there.
I like to think that.
But I think it's showing, they're like, wait a second, we're not tapping the resources of women that want to do this job, that can do it better than the men in our office,
yep,
that are spend half the day golfing.
Yep.
So, yeah, exactly. Hold on a second. If you're going to say something, then we're going to continue on and on and on. And that's the problem with this whole podcast today. So how about we do this? Did you have a good time?
I had the best time. You made my Monday.
Hey, stop it. It's just a stupid podcast.
No, you made my Monday.
But I appreciate it. We're gonna do it again, because I do want a part 2, and because you've got so many other things on your resume that we haven't hit. And I'd like to keep it at 30 minutes, which is going to be an hour, but that's fine.
Those are the exciting stuff.
Hey. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear. Hey, I really appreciate it.
Thank
it was
you.
really nice meeting you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having me.
You're a pro. Stop it. All right. Let's go have a rehearsal. Bye. Thanks to Ra'eesa for the great conversation. A big thanks to the Reveal Rooftop Bar in St. Louis Park for the great food and drinks. A huge thanks to you for listening. If you want to help this podcast out, please give us a review on iTunes. Be sure to tell your friends if you like the show. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. Talk to you next time.